perfect design for the Lotus of Master Source Industries, the startup company Breathe a Mask XR. I'm here to detail my revelations on the presentation for the Breathe a Mask XR. I realized that, well, let me just put it this way. Well, there's so much that I need to be saying to you, to everyone. All right, welcome to the Wizard's Circle. Everyone's being respected here. In the news, I'm learning about a new variant, uh, disastrously named Mu, like MU. What a freaking powerful name to be giving to something that's so freaking disturbing. Like, what's with these epic names? So this type of common sense of the intuition of junk DNA collision as if they're doing their task. Um, so kind of a confused identity complex that zeroes back onto the Leverett circle, Earth resident frequency, and what does Earth mean to the universe? Now, if we're just, to just simply look at the image of a universe and be like, oh, guys, look how big the universe is. We're all spaced out. Now it's time to do something spiritual. It's not the same thing when I'm simply saying, look at Earth. Here's the fucking map. Here's the where map talking about South Park. It's not like, oh, let's get like out of our minds on the universe, you guys. It's about the identity of Earth, the society of Earth, and how to survive on Earth, how to represent the identity of mankind in the truth of the identity of the Earth. To align these things, we need to produce Hatch. And I'm here to present on that stuff. All right, so number one, Hatch presents in a way where he's like, hey guys, this is sort of my style. I teach about this. We're gonna go on a journey. We'll cast some magic and like that. So, but really, at this in the reality zone, I'm reflecting on the impact from the Where map, which was a language sequence unavoidable. The intelligence is, is absolute, and so this really is a letter to Trey Parker and his group. Uh, but while at the same time, I have a broken heart with Trey Parker and his group because there was a falsetto where the elapse of time has registered the result of humans' male alignments and experiments like, hey, we're doing our human thing. Well, that's going to be really costly. But similar to Trey Parker, as Trey Parker speaks all to his audience, but they don't generally speak directly back to him. Meanwhile, kind of the same thing is happening where Hatch is speaking to Trey and his group, and without receiving a communication back. And it's sort of like the meditation of the communication industry, and that's okay. Look, I'm just saying we have a lot of people issues between us, and I want to actually. So that's what I'm trying to say is like the reason that Hatch has a difficult time presenting to Trey Parker and his group is because of the broken heart. And also, I'm time psychic, so I can feel the shockwaves of the lost opportunity when I was assassinated in 2019 in Los Angeles, right? So you guys were idiots then. You were idiots in 2020. I'm working with you so that you're not an idiot in 2021. And that's to your benefit. And I'm going to talk to you like real, unlike these other people who are like robots designed for commerce and legal communications that kills millions of people. Legal communications, you guys. Because of the human condition, because of the appetite of mankind, it is telltale that this type of explosion happens, but it means that the Earth is talking about extinction level events in the future of mankind. Of course, we are the victims of our own children's fate, obviously. If the life structure and society is built correctly, this pandemic that we're suffering is the character witness to kick our ass and tell us to produce Hatch. Specifically, the next level, think more of me, Dad. I'm not talking about a joke between me and Trey. That's all digested. We're adult performers. I'm an extreme wizard, unpublished, without money. Oh, oh, I see. And Trey Parker, an extreme wizard with a lot of finances and everything. But our collision in 2019 changed Trey Parker's behavior, but I didn't get paid for the comeuppance. I'm a true green perception wizard, American brand resident style. I speak a different type of English. All right. So the real reason of this letter is to say that basically the the youth are spiritually more capable or more advanced than the old people today. And even the USD is a character designed to get us to sort of motivate us to build society. And what Hatch is saying, I'm going to optimize communication. So Hatch is a new communication wizard, new level, and he's saying I can actually change our currency to support a more intelligent thing where we have universal health care, or just like, oh, no more homeless people, that's all gone. Oh, strictly speaking, we have laws that enforce green energy because it's like free, renewable, and abundant. We figured out how to harness, we have new solar panels. We're going to get on how to finance internal structuring of things like sequence hydroelectric dams. Now, Breathe the Mask XR, if we rewind back to 2021, here we are. So what I'm saying is like Hatch uses communication not to defile you, but to enlighten you. However, the children are kicking your ass, Trey Parker. They are, because Hatch is the gatekeeper. He's like a diadem physics angel, one of a kind of the Massachusetts Armor Capable. But it's the Earth, true, the existence. All right. Even on the narrative level, if you guys just say, oh, well, okay, you're saying you're unique and we accept that you're the best of all that. Okay, that's fine. And like that's literally all I'm that's as far as I'm asking you to go in your understanding of resonancy, physics, humanities, reason, and the communication here. Oh, we're going to get all spaced out because we're going into the universe. No, this is the map of Earth, and it contains the where map, which brought me to you guys. So we have a divine connection, and that's why I'm still talking with you. And I am sure that Trey Parker achieves this. The marks are unmistakable of his sainthood. He's just having some like the worst type of entropy here because of all the broken hearts. Oops, it sounds like time the sequence of time has to be made important by my suffering, but that means that there was something lost in 2019, which means that I've like censored the wrong person and given everyone, including my own family, like the wrong information about Earth and the like where we're headed as an individual into eternity. So when you're like a million years old and you're an angel, you're going to be like, oh, now I understand the fiscal structures of being a earthling during 2021. Well, yeah. So I'm saying like, okay, reality through the children is basically kicking Trey Parker's ass, and all of you guys are so stupid that you want to think that Hatch is the one who, oh, such a simple answer. Yeah, Hatch was attacking Trey because of the Where map. Like, you guys are not prioritizing the depth of the man. Trey has a hidden crown wizard token in the Where map, and you guys killed it in 2019. Are you going to kill him again? Stop killing Trey Parker. The children are doing it, therefore, censorship. Like, whoa. So you guys are undermining the entire integrity of the industry and communication. It's interfering with Trey Parker's Zen. Once again, you go back and say, it's Hatch's blame. Hatch has interfered. No, dude, he's anchored in his incarnation type and our inflection and whatever. You guys have, done battle with all the weird creatures. South Park is like a social boxing ring. So I'm not upset about those things. Of course, no, no, okay. I mean, you guys have had extreme combat with identities of the world, and you've never had a recourse as bad as this. And you're like, maybe it's because he's not famous yet, or, oh, really, you're really thinking it through, you fucking idiot. You have to start realizing when things are connected and there's a divine language, there's a little giggle behind it, you go and rescue the princess. Because that's the slant side. That's the look, the universe has to be manly. You have to hold the door for a little lady because she's small. Because the door's heavy and it will knock her off her feet, you stupid fucking bitch. Because you're a foot and a half and 50 pounds heavier than that lady. That's why you hold the door, not because of that it upholds sexist standards, you stupid piece of shit. All right, so I'm trying to enforce a type of American manliness. I'm not attacking Trey Parker. Meanwhile, we have a broken heart because of 2019. Especially, I'm the one who's intelligent enough to actually read those languages of fourth dimensional things not activated, things that aren't there because it was not chosen by your own choosing, Trey. Okay, so you're like, no, I don't want to talk to him, so that's why those aren't there. And like for you guys, it's okay, and that's the sort of stupidity. But for Hatch, he's like, oh, I really miss who we were in 2019. All right, but what we need to do is get over the heartbreak and go like, wait, let's be like completely zen, like altruistic, and let's care about the feelings of children who aren't even born yet, and like they're gonna love. And then when we do that, we're actually doing exactly what the remote hacking UFO E-fleet had failed to do in their own incarnate state. Therefore, we cause the source code superior superseding and claiming to the Earth residency the immunity to their madness, or rather the cure to it, and that, but the sort of universal impression of transcendence to the junk DNA anatomy and being like resilient, be like, look, we're going to produce Hatch because he's talking about breathe the mask XR. Meanwhile, in the news is the Mu and the mutated COVID-19. So that's retarded. All right. And what I want, the entire reason that I'm making this letter to Trey right now is because I just wanted to talk about the breathe the mask XR. So there's a couple different features or levels that we're not perceiving. Number one, the Breathe the Mask XR is designed to be a playful, enjoyable, comfortable breathing mask that does not that sort of amplifies the face. Okay, we're worshiping the face and protecting its functions during plague. Meanwhile, it's problematic with our leadership continuing to act like this is just some new bug that rolled off the back of an animal. Well, Hatch, as an energy expert, is saying, I'm saying that this is not a. So it's not fair to ask people to endure herd immunity. Be like, oh, they're going to muscle through it. Oh, no, here's Moo. That's now, we're in an advanced age where with like the fires and stuff, it's all like, oh, are we going to continue with our society? This is literally an extinction. This is very good material for an intellectual. All right, you guys. Oh, so what I wanted to say about the breathing mask is I was thinking about it this morning, and I was like, but there's all this clutter in the way. How can I explain to them the simple grace about allowing the children to fall in love while there's this sort of adult thing going on between the pandemic and the wildfires? And I'm saying I have a solution for I can stop the environmental crisis, but it requires the physics of a global revolution party, like all these exciting characters. So we need to produce that. Uh-oh. But you know what? That's going to make back a lot of money. And you guys as producers are really stupid for not understanding how to make honest money. And you guys are making cheap money during the worst time of the pandemic. Like shooting fish in a barrel is a bad leadership. I think you guys are in a coma, in like a broken heart denial bullshit. Okay, um, but such is the recourse for older men who have lived through the '90s, and they're like, or it's fine, you guys. But I'm saying like there will be a new hidden crown for Trey. It will be natural to him. It will be something he's happy with, satisfied with. I want to work with Trey, but he cannot have the hidden crown if he does not produce Hatch. And this is like freaking urgent because people are dying, and the pandemic has just reared its ugly head about them. Because they're the Pfizer guy and the president were hinting about Moo like a week before it came out, so as to cover their own ass, so as to protect themselves legally. Like that's leadership, unlike Trump, who had like some impact. He had some weird things to say because he had like some sort of creature to him. But that talk about like weird. Like I think the government is so saturated in a system of the down with this sort of coital responsibility about what they know about aliens and UFOs because they have like some friends they have like really weird shit because that's their life, but then they're kind of standoffish about the personality of just like talking to people and being sort of like Trump. So Trump was kind of social in a weird way, even though his policies are terrible about making a wall that didn't even work. That was such a waste of money, time, energy. And the reason why I don't really like Trump ultimately is because of his policies were so bad. And you know, but okay, so but it's a scary time when a reprisal to a government system arrives to us in the form of a zombie monster like Trump. So the problem is so bad that that's why we don't have the common sense intellectual, a character such as a John Lennon, who is sort of mediocre popular. Let's say that he's like an older actor, and I don't want to drop a name on the person. Let's say just like a really good person runs for president, like a Jimmy Stewart. Like what? Why isn't that not happening? Okay, the reason that's not happening is because humans are so zen. Like they can fucking sense the undertow of like a greater reprisal, and that's sort of like the kids kicking Trey Parker's ass with the undertow of like you attacked my wizard, the center of the why I can't receive the education that was critical to my age group because you censored Hatch. Now when Hatch does get released, it's like a different group of a generation that they can hear the harmonics of like their own energy of relationship to Earth. They're like, oh, this is the training that turned me into a wizard. Yes, we produce Hatch, gonna be really healthy, and it might get to a point where I'm so in love with what I'm doing that I'm not going to run for president. You have to be passionate in the day. You have to be real and be like, oh, let's go day, of course, go day by day. But what we need to see is Hatch is being censored because he doesn't have money. Well, those are stupid reasons, you guys. We have to understand money and master it with power. But the signs in the public exposure of what South Park is doing with money does not portray intelligent wielding, especially in the atmosphere of 2021, the apocalypse, the fires, and all this. So what we're talking about is like both you and I, Trey, are similar wizards with a similar disposition. When we work together, we complete each other perfectly. That's what Perfect Design, Lotus, Instrument, Pop Spring, Let's Produce Hatch, Project, Trey Parker as the producer. That's what that's all been about. What we've been talking about the whole time is to make the energy so that the humans made it with their hands. This belongs to them. All right, you guys. I hope that you've had some sort of enlightenment from what I'm saying here. There's a lot of nuances. I'd love to go. It's kind of like a gauntlet, but in part of me, I'm like, no, please don't do it. But like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of obvious, but it's kind of painful because it's like this is the fucking problem that's making you guys act in telltale signs, and it's just kind of cringe. And you're like, oh, I'll think about it some more. Okay, that's great. Thank you. Okay. Um, and that's the recourse. Yeah, but we want to be adults. We want to be advanced. What's 2021? What is the Earth saying? How do we solve the environmental crisis? And I'm saying there's a couple like the like immediate cure, like developing ozone. and pumping it straight into the sky might actually eliminate the fires for next year. And some people would say, okay, but would that give us an immature sense of confidence and over encourage the oil industry? Would it do that? And should we contemplate that? And I'm like, yeah, we should think about it. Um, but I do also have a solution for the CO2 pollution. And there's a lot of telltale evidence. For example, in India, they just recently launched a stack of air filters, and it's interesting how the human condition is set in a way. It's like sort of like the false using of Zen. Like that's what I'm saying. I'm saying Trey, stop lashing yourself with false Zen. Oh, we have a broken heart, so we can't work together. Fuck you, man. Trey, well, you need to produce hatch so that for the kids, so that they can wake up and have their Earth resonant thing. That's what the identity curve is going to solve the pollution. Once we have that identity, we have the right technology for the right solar panels. I'm concerned about that. I know the name of it, but there's no more news, headlines about this new solar panel that got bought up by a bunch of energy companies. And I don't like that it's not being talked about or advertised. It's sort of like the weird relationship of who purchased it. They're not advertising about it. Wow. Okay. So that's scary. Oh, anyway, so the headlines in India, they're like, "Oh, we're doing this air purifier," and the headline, like the person who was announcing it, literally was like, "This is a total waste of time. This is, what we're doing here is just like basically for fun. It's gonna sit here and it's gonna purify the fog, the smog out of our city area. But here it goes. Let's just turn it on and walk away." And like in India, you understand, like this is how they have to have an attitude about it, but it's actually a really smart thing. It's just not human because they're talking about the conflict like there are a bunch of exodermal examples from the 70s. But I'm saying like these kids are smarter than that. They're like, stop committing suicide. Uh, for the example. Oh, come on, you guys. Can you understand the curvature here? All right. So I'd love to go through the gauntlet again with you and find the examples. And oh, that's connectivity. That makes sense. So it's sort of like we're different masters of the human condition, and that avails accents that are useful, also natural, uh, and so we're mavericks of the entire reality. We're let's be our utmost in self, and so I'm saying like Trey, I just have a little broken heart because I'm saying like the utmost of self would have been you and me working together like a couple of years ago. So is that going to destroy us? What I'm asking you to do is to be like brutal to yourself and be like, I have to produce hats because that is the answer, bro. And because now it's just for the kids. Now it's not about, oh, Trey's a big king of society. Like he's like, oh, I haven't really been feeling that way. And, like, but I mean, all right, look, I'm not trying to talk about, I really, I'm joking when I'm talking about it is so unsatisfying. Like, I don't have a satisfactory, uh, like, you guys think that I'm someone who just sends letters online and that's just what I like doing. I don't, and where do you guys get off thinking that I don't actually want to hear back from you? Or he doesn't really want to do this? Like, I've heard it because I'm an expert. You haven't heard from reality. All right, you guys. All right, so what we can do is produce hats immediately, and in the first episode, I'm going to be talking about the Breathe the Mask XR. The reason I'm making this communication to Trey Parker, yes, this is a letter to Trey, but I really can't drop my guard and make some sort of NTF beta, like binary file, where I'm acting inferior to my own identity as the king guardian of the earth. It's just as nature I'm standing on, and I'm saying like, there are things beyond words, and there's a lot of things that can happen in existing, like from the stance like, welcome to having some eyes, like for animals, any species, any race, ethnicity. And I think racism is a huge distraction. I don't think that's actually what's going on. But anyway, so like I'd say like that's almost like an exoskeletal example of junctionate like time wasters, like, oh, you know transcend this while it's on fire, and also like, oh, the worst feelings ever. Brr. Like, so transcending all that, we need to produce Hatch. So the best way, Trey is a very well respected producer and a great artist, and he has not broken any laws. But I am like this elf king. Did you see the fairy light on the tip of my finger? So they have their own like physics that are similar to like laws, social laws and rules and stuff. Like there's a lot going on, and the reason why humans have such a weird accent, and so okay, but there's these templates, and those need to happen for the sake of the child's identity. So when they arrive, so basically, Junk DNA is saying that when children arrive, they're born with a soul with the impression of a hack port that can silently like disturb the soul, like Scientology. That's not how things work. The identity in the child is born innocent every time. So there's something fundamental here. Yeah, like, oh, old tampering with DNA has not availed um, for hackers that springtrap on the child's event, like bubble up all about, and it's about Earth, not about these remote signals. And it's just like her Hatch is like, I'm really desperate to get to work on society and build up this team and get going. You guys are so good. I have a lot of cool things to say, but when we're talking about Mu is introduced this COVID variant that might just be deadly beyond uh, herd immunity plus inoculation. So it doesn't even matter if you've survived it in the past, it just gets worse. What if there's something like even worse than Mu because it's like it's been designed to do that shit? All right, so theoretically, all right, holy shit, you know. Well, anyway, what it means is that like having custom computerized breathing masks, like personal breathing equipment, um, might just be the cool thing for kids in the future. It's sort of like how our generations in the 90s, like we had to become aware of AIDS and sort of change our sexuality to avoid the spread of AIDS. So it was kind of when AIDS came out, it was kind of the end of a party of a certain group of adults, and that's real. But here it is where we're right on the edge of it, and we're kind of the adults who need to be like, we need to develop this breathe the mask XR because it's going to be cool for the kids and it means that they won't die. We want them to get to work, armor our soldiers. Absolutely, they're going to make society happen and all those sort of good things. When I'm looking at the environment, people are so zen. It's like they're almost not even interested in hearing about my solutions for the CO2. Also, I want to say that, oh, okay. So the reason that I'm making this letter to Trey, but of course it's built for everyone to enjoy and learn because that's just what happens with the communication file. Everyone is, even the technology, like the internet and all the energy, even the sunlight is learning right now. Like armor up, bonus level, ding, 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 ding. Oh, what's this? I'm learning. Okay. So I wanted to talk about the breathe mask to you, Trey, because I haven't really expounded upon like my real feelings about it. All right, check this out. So we have one like um, a pilot version, or what do you call it? The prototype. So prototype production of the Breathe Mask XR is actually like a customize your experience headset. So what it does is it performs various levels of rendering your visual cortex with moving colors and sweeping and interactive sounds and a gentle snowscape. Or like, little things start happening on the viewfinder, and it's just like entertainment breather mask. It's like a breather mask that brings you into a dream world where you're like seeing weird other things. And it does a bit of like face tracking for you. And when you see someone, it it puts like a different face. It puts like a skull on the person's face. Oh my gosh, I can see X-ray. I'm wearing X-ray goggles. I can see your skull. Yeah, there's a mode where you can see people's skeletons as they're walking around. Now, all right, so for example, being able to motion track with your Breathe the Mask XR, that's an advanced feature. What I'm saying is that literally, the I think that we're not understanding what the prototype will begin as. So literally, I was. This is why I'm making this letter. It's just like, what about a thing where it's fun to wear because it kind of plays with the things that we might not even need actual overlay with scene objects. Like the actual first thing might just be a colorful thing where it's just like, oh yeah, it just kind of makes it turns what you're doing at school into a movie or into a playful thing. And there's like a gentle, like you can change the sound and ask, or you can have it, there's an option where it samples little things that you might have said or heard in the day and turns it into like kind of into an actual rave, into yeah, a rave, like it kind of develops, or you can change the volume, be like, oh, it's a little too exciting, or like, or turn up the volume. Yeah, let's have a party. I'm just walking around. So um it's like that. So the first version could actually just be a very gentle suggestion about XR. So not requiring excessive computer components and equipment, but merely giving a life-saving device to children while, these retard leaders who don't understand shape theory or how to treat the public are, it's it, the the treatment to or sending children back to school without inoculation. And it's creepy and it's so zen. Humans are so zen. That's why we need intelligent people like with Asperger's or like weirdos. Those people are really useful, okay? Because the normal human man is retarded and he's wearing giant diapers, okay? So you guys need to be like, oh, it's super intelligent to produce hatch now. I was telling you guys, like, maybe there'll be a variant that they're going to say is more powerful than this and that, and here it is today. It's way too soon. It's way too soon for this moo to be coming out now. I was talking like maybe this will happen later. All right, and this is just like a few days after I said it. You guys, it's like this is the wrong type of apocalypse timing where Hatch is correct. We need to produce Hatch. We need to make this green light, this picture. And what I think it is I need to have a conversation with my team. Basically, you guys just greenlight the show. I'm going to be talking about solutions for CO2 to get people thinking about it, and I'm going to try to open an LLC about manufacturing ozone. And I'm also, and yeah, and that's on that end of it. But more importantly, I need to explain what the Breathe the Mastics are, if it's a social revolution, because it can also be a communication device. Okay, like I said, it can also reanimate people you're seeing and give them an avatar. And so you turns your life into a cartoon. So what the Breathe the Mask XR is very a powerful invention. I think people are thinking like, oh, it's going to be caught up in development for way too long. It's like, hey, Buster, that's my job. I'm the CEO of the Breathe the Mask XR. You understand? I'm the inventor. So don't go off with a troubleshooting on my account while you're postponing on other children's lives. This is something that can make you money, and you're failing to do your job. You should produce Hatch for money. That makes sense. Huh. Also, it saves lives, you slow horrors, enemies of child, enemies of their career. Trey, the inflection physics template must be written for the defense of Earth to defeat the remote hackers and prevent invasion. Therefore, there's hell to pay. Oh, Hatch is putting undue rules on us. No, I'm not, you idiot. Well, it seems like... No. I have answers for those things. You're not communicating properly. You stole my money in 2019. You're you guys don't believe in magic for the benefit of killing children's opportunity. You censorists, it's evil to prevent free speech. Free speech is for us. That's why we're tummy lickles. No, it's for people like Hatch. I need the financing, and this will be sort of a more fun way of turning a scary time on Earth and introducing the correct format, an actual respirator like you would wear in a hospital. If a doctor in a hospital is wearing it, then that's what my child would be wearing, because I wouldn't be a fucking retard with my child, unlike you. I would opt into homeschooling at a time of pandemic. It's an anti-societal mother and father. You idiots who prevent the Breathe the Mask XR, you are anti-American and against the mothers and the fathers' intuition and want for their children to have this product. Supply and demand, that's Hatch. People are demanding the Breathe the Mask XR, and you are censoring progressive political and social advances. You are anti-societal, Trey, and it's cost you a lot of money. And you have a secret broken heart that you won't admit about 2019. Well, it's true and it's real. And that's what's been censoring and forcing you to continue doing crime against the ask of woman and child and man. So that's the home thing. We're not going and looking at the universe image. Oh, getting so we're spiritual now. No, it's written on the map. The Earth is saying, turn here or else you're going towards extinction. That's what you guys are doing. All right. The lone wolf has spoken. Hatchpan heliosphere. Shrum. I represent identity and the residency physics cunt for the gatekeeper unmet. The practical junk DNA has provided the physics, which is the very firewall, preventing the methods of remote hacking to sire the atomic form. All source code and vulnerable vitals of the Earth, and what the Earth ratio needs to the Earth, to the universe. All those physics are protected by Hatchpan heliosphere. Armor up. Perfect design. All right. So I'm doing this lotus thing on the Earth. That's the entire Earth image as a hologram. And so one of the characters on my show. I've been working on this thing my whole life. All right. Breathe the Mask XR is the correct thing to talk about. It has to go beta for people to talk about it online. Do you understand? So there's this more adult wizard language about behavior and the mature use of energy, power, and resources to the salvation of life for the Breathe the Mask XR, produce Hatch immediately. You guys have gone beyond my calendar. I've had times where I'm like, it has to already have, but now we're in uncharted territory beyond this. For the power of your censorship has taken its toll. And your brokenheartedness you want to prove that further censorship of Hatch injures more generations of children. I knew it. I knew Hatch was different, therefore further inaction and censorship. So that is your junk DNA blue perception. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm a good man. Everyone's very impressed by me. Hatch isn't. Well, everyone thinks Hatch is weird, and so nothing special to produce there. Nothing to communicate about. All right, you guys are late, and I'm asking you to be more advanced for the needs of the children of other people's family set. It will give you lots of money and popularity, and there'll be a new hidden crown for Trey Parker, a new spiritual kingdom, but it's differently assorted. All right, you need to transcend how Zen humans are. Is they're actually in like an undertow where the solution is for you guys to produce with excitement a show, and that's your very job. You should be excited about an idol. We can produce him, and this is exactly what we do. And being an idol and a leader for humanity and Earth is exactly what Hatch is designed to do, and what I've been working on my whole life with the public access. I had a show on public access, and I performed and directed and edited myself. And I was talking about new discoveries in science and how to apply them to your lifetime, like how to become lucky because of particle physics just found the boson. Like bending quantum physics to your advantage. And I was making a show about that, and it was really popular. Five College area in Massachusetts. A lot of college kids would see me on the street, give signatures, take a picture with people. But that was just my public access TV show. I'm asking you guys to help me have a greater uh, platform. I'm talking about opening a studio and an entire streaming service, an entire social platform. But it all develops from the pilot episode where I'm talking about breathe a mask and the solution for the CO2. Perfect design, the Lotus Hatchband Heliosphere. I represent loyal to one Hatchband Heliosphere. Self-evident, perfect circle. Green perception wizard. True love is the answer. Earth is king in the universe. The template to uphold it has many impact on the vacuums of reality. The boy has the light. Merry Christmas.